in this house.
You have the wrong number!
In this house.
You have the wrong number!
In this house.
Hey, you have the wrong number!
In this house.
The number's wrong!
Shadowman time! Shadowman time!
IFC Midnight needs to be stopped, you guys. I mean, seriously, first they released the 2016 remake of Cabin Fever, now they go and reboot a beloved children's nursery rhyme into a retro 70s 8mm liberal arts film. And the film which I am referring to, if you haven't guessed already by the title or the thumbnail, is Skinamarink. A movie that does not make me want to dinky dink, nor does it make me want to dinky do. In fact, it makes me want to lay down in the middle of the street and wait for the wheels on the bus to go round and round. What's going on, everybody? Shadowman number 9 here, and today we're talking about Skinamarink, the movie that is being called this generation's Blair Witch Project.
Bitch, please.
Let me just preface this video by saying I completely understand what the movie's about, why it is the way it is. I'm totally aware of the analog horror genre. None of this is lost on me. But ultimately, what really kills this movie for me is that there's no resolve. It just is what it is. Now, for those who are still unaware of this film, and for those who watched the trailer and walked away still not having the slightest clue what in the Kentucky Fried Fuck you just witnessed, allow me to be your voice of enlightenment. You see, the director of this film, Kyle Edward Ball, ran a YouTube channel called Bite-Sized Nightmares, and it was there on his channel that he would ask his viewers to leave comments recalling their childhood nightmares. Kyle would then shoot recreations of those nightmares. Ball stated in an interview with Inverse, "I noticed the most common nightmare was a dream people remember from their childhood. I'm between the ages of 6 and 10, my parents are dead or missing, and there's a monster." Now, this led to the 2020 proof of concept short film titled Heck, which was also directed by Ball. This proof of concept would be sort of an experiment for Kyle to see what he could do with this material, how he could do it, and what he liked to do and didn't like to do with it. A process that would soon prepare him for a full-length feature film version of the short, which would then become Skinamarink. Alright, now, usually when I review a movie, I like to go over the setting, talk about the characters, I'll go over all the things that I loved and things that I didn't like so much, but I really can't do that here because this movie is quite literally...
Wait for it. 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 Keep waiting.
A child's nightmare. It's a movie that is long and drawn out for the sake of building tension. There are no consequences for anything that happens in this movie. Nothing really matters, and the film ends without any kind of answer or resolve, which, don't get me wrong, that's extremely accurate to the source material. But leaving the film open-ended, on top of it already being a grainy and confusing mess, when you're paying $12 a ticket plus concessions to go see this movie in theaters, that's a dick move. Make some shit up. I mean, show the kid waking up and everything's okay now. I mean, my girlfriend, from the moment the film started, she kept telling me, I bet the kid's in a coma after falling down the stairs and this is his dream. And I was like, oh shit, that makes total sense. That explains why the parents aren't there. They're on the outside talking to him, and that's why they pop in and out of the movie. See, that would have been a fucking awesome plot twist, even if the kid didn't wake up. I don't need a happy ending, but I need something. Even if you turn down the happy ending at an Asian massage parlor, you're still expecting the massage at the very least. This movie never gives you a massage. It doesn't give you anything. And what really pisses me off about this movie is I appreciate the work the director put into it. The creative process behind the tricks and the sound design, it's all really fascinating. But the overall product feels like a dragged out short film. I mean, let's be honest, this movie could have been a phone call or an email. I'm also not a fan of introducing subplots that are never brought up again. And throughout this movie, we witness items such as toilets or doorways disappearing and reappearing, and we later learn it's the monster that has the power to do this. But there's no character development. We don't know what this kid is afraid of, what he's having nightmares of. We don't know what the origins of the monster are or what the monster even is. I mean, if you ask me, Kevin doesn't ever want to talk about mom, and there's only a dad around. The dad calls somebody after Kevin falls down the stairs and comes back from the doctors, so I have to assume that the parents are split up, and maybe that this monster is Kevin's manifestation of the divorce. But let's say that's the truth. Let's say that's exactly what it is. The monster is the manifestation of Kevin's anxiety and grief in his parents' divorce. Okay? I mean, that's something a lot of us could relate to, including myself. That is something that would interest me in continuing to watch the movie to see how Kevin handles these events. But it's extremely hard to get emotionally invested when you can't tell what the fuck is happening. We never find out if the monster gives Kaylee her face privileges back. We never find out why things were disappearing other than the fact the monster's a dick and just has the power to do so. The movie gives you nothing. And again, I need to reiterate, this all makes sense if you're having a nightmare. Like this is some pretty textbook dream shit. But this isn't good storytelling for a film, because in the end, nothing matters and there's no resolve, just like dreams. When you wake up from a dream or a nightmare, I mean, most of the time you're like, what the fuck? That was weird. And it's the same thing for Skinamarink. I kept seeing this movie pop up in the countless horror groups I'm in on Facebook, and everybody posting about it seemed to gush over how scary it was. Now, I never saw the trailer for the movie. I went in totally blind. In fact, I didn't see the trailer until after I saw the movie and realized I needed background footage for this video. Now, funny enough, if I had seen the trailer, I would have wanted to see the movie. The trailer looked obscure and totally fucking weird, and I would have wanted to watch the movie to find out why it was like that. But the film and the trailer are two totally different experiences. The trailer actually complements the film, where the film does nothing to justify the want or need to see the movie. I'm trying not to be, but I'm a little bit pissed off about it, because I told my girlfriend I had found this movie and it's supposed to be terrifying. So we made a date night, ordered some pizza, put on the flick, and throughout the whole thing, we're invested, man. I mean, like, we're looking at everything in every single frame. We can't see shit, but we're both looking. Both of us are taking notes. We've got a pinboard on the wall with theories and clues, red string of yarn connecting each point, trying to figure this goddamn movie out. And in the end, it doesn't even matter. So all in all, would I recommend this film? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't even recommend this film to fans of the analog horror genre because it's not even in the lowest tier of quality analog horror content. The trailer is much more fun to watch than the actual movie. And again, I'd like to make perfectly clear that I love the aesthetic, I love the look and the feel of this movie, but a movie should tell some kind of story and give the audience something to keep them invested and interested in watching. Confusion does not, nor should it ever apply. We had to watch this movie with the subtitles on, and if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have known what in the hell was happening. Then I had to follow the plot on Wikipedia just to see if they knew something I didn't. And that's not how you should watch a movie. Ultimately, I found Skinamarink to be very disappointing. I'm a little bit disappointed with all the people that found this movie unsettling and scary. I think you guys need to watch more movies and up your game. Because again, not to get on a soapbox here, but the ultimate problem with Skinamarink is the fact that all of it is just a dream. A dream with no resolve, as many dreams do not. So as you're trying to focus in and figure out this movie, in the end, none of it matters. It's not real. Now, the movie is unique in the sense that, unlike dream sequences in other movies that display a cohesive and understandable sequence of events, these events taking place are not quite so understandable. They do not make sense just as it would really be in a nightmare. It's this style of storytelling, however, that is the movie's true downfall. It's a movie that doesn't give enough to the audience warranting you to stick around, and if you do stick around out of pure confusion, in the end,
you get nothing!
And I've seen people say online that the true horror is the fact that you're watching these poor children endure this torment and all the beatings and the monster that's trying to kill them and is basically using them as its playthings, and you can't do nothing. So it's heartbreaking, it's terrifying. But I can't feel bad for Kevin and Kaylee as they endure this terror because it's not real. Their torment is meaningless. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with open-ended movies. I'm fine with endings that don't totally explain everything and are thought-provoking, leaving the audience wondering what really happened and forcing them to use their imagination to fill in the blanks. I'm totally fine with that. But at least in those movies, the bulk of the movie was giving you something. It was feeding you something. Skinamarink just feeds itself. It takes your attention and feeds on it and gives nothing in return, and that's my whole problem with this movie. Now, I don't think you should take my word for it. If you haven't seen the movie but you still want to check it out for yourself, it's streaming on Shudder. You can subscribe to Shudder monthly or annually, and you can even try it free for 7 days. They've got a large selection of horror movies, both old and new, and they're constantly updating their catalog. No matter what, you can't lose. Go get yourself a subscription and go have some fun. But that's going to do it for this video, kids. Thanks for watching.